Hey everybody, this is Presto.
And I'm Corporal Pancake.
And you are listening to episode 69 of the Nintendads podcast. 3 years! 3-year anniversary episode! Ah! Can you believe it, Corporal? Can you believe it?
Did not plan for our 3-year episode to be episode 69.
It just worked out that way.
It worked out this way. It's a special episode.
Serendipitous? Yes, indeed. So yeah, it's our 69th episode. 3 years in. This means, right? Because I think if we stuck to 2 episodes a month consistently for 3 years, we would be at episode 74. And we're at 69, so that's pretty close. There's only been a couple times in the last 3 years where we've really screwed the pooch.
It's funny because sometimes we've done 3 episodes a month, and then other times we've done 1. So I just kind of always assumed that it would have balanced.
That would evened out?
But I guess we found somewhere.
Almost. I mean, it's close. It's pretty close.
It is pretty close.
I don't even know what I'm having for lunch tomorrow, let alone having the correct amount of episodes after 3 years of shenanigans. Anyway, yes, it is our 3-year anniversary episode. I'm going to share this to all the things. We're mostly going to be talking about a lot of stuff that happened from last year to this year, some games that we played, some games that we liked, some games that we didn't like. Nathan, thank you for liking the stream. We have new stream alerts now too, with our stupid faces.
I love our faces being up here. That's pretty great.
It is great. I don't get tired of seeing it. I was similarly excited when we did the Streets of Rage animated GIFs, but this is way better. This is way cooler. So yeah, 3 years of the Nintendo. First of all, Corporal, we gotta start in the classic way. What are you drinking?
I still have some Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Peppermint Porter on deck. But
from Friday. From Friday night.
But I've got my coffee here.
Awesome. Nathan, happy anniversary, GG's, my dudes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan.
I also have my coffee, because it is a morning episode. Wait, let me see that mug again. Hold on. You can't slip that by me. That's sick.
You like that?
That's a nice one, yeah. Look at mine. Mine had the Cream Surfboards logo on it, but I've had it for so long. The logo is nowhere to be found. It is not. Using it in the dishwasher was not the move. But now I have somewhere I could put a Nintendads logo there.
Yeah.
Stick it right on there, and it'll also be gone in several dishwashes. So before we begin, I mean, let's begin. What happened this year? We did our 2-year episode. This is our 3-year episode. Let's cover some of the highlights.
We had a lot that happened.
We did have a lot. I didn't realize how much we did this year until I went back and I listed it out, and I was like, "Oh damn, that was all this year."
We separate we're gonna call them seasons by phases. We call them phases on here in the Nintendads.
Official internal documents.
So this is phase 3 that we are ending, and
wait, are we the MCU?
I mean, yeah, I feel like we are. I'm looking at all of because we have each one of our phases. Our phase 1, which is when we first started, we had Nick Yeti as our co-host, and there was the 3 Nintendads when we started out. By the end of phase 1, Yeti moved and traveled across abroad, and then it turned into phase 2, and it was just us, and we were rebranding ourselves as just, you and I being the Nintendads duo.
And we started streaming right before our 1-year anniversary. Yeah. I finally got a new PC. I got a capture card. I actually traded one of my downhill skateboards, my longboards, to Nick Yeti for the capture card.
Yep.
He's like, I'm never going to use this. PlayStation can go direct now. It's useless to me.
Yep.
So yeah, we started streaming into year 2.
Into year 2, and then we did phase 2, which was all about trying to build up our brand, build up our community. We had a base, right? We had our podcast that was going strong on Spotify, as well as Anchor and Apple and everything else. And phase 2, we stretched out our arms and got more strength going, building our community and our brand.
Discovered the wonderful world of Monster Hunter, which we cannot go without mentioning because that was a huge part of our growth, especially after we started streaming.
Yeah, yep. And then we ended year 2 with a bunch of aspirations for where we wanted the Nintendads to go.
That's not how I remember us ending year 2.
Oh.
I remember doing lots of drinking lots of beverages on stream with the Nintendo moms.
Yeah, the Nintendo moms.
Yeah. Our partners, we had a lot of it was a good time.
7, so 10. I mean, today is the 30th, right? So tomorrow is Halloween.
Yes.
But our last our 2-year anniversary stream was on October 27th. So we are pretty close in there with keeping our.
Yeah, we were a couple days. I mean, you were on. You had your honeymoon, your wedding, which is something that happened this year. We're skipping ahead a little bit.
Yep. So I mean, our time frames were a little shifted for this 3-year anniversary stream, but
nobody knows the real date except us. Well, now everybody does, but.
Well, yeah, we had a lot that happened brought us to this moment, and then year 3 started, and I mean, because of all the success and the let's say the pillars of our foundation that were set up for in year 2, like the successes that we've accomplished in year 3 are a direct result of that. So I know you've got some things that you wanted to rank off of what our successes were.
So to me, being the Monster Hunter obsessed person that I am now, and that happened before we started the Nintendads. I never touched a Monster Hunter game. I didn't like bring in like a previous interest into this base.
So I mean, Super Smash.
Oh, yeah.
Previous interest, and let me tell you, your obsession with frame rate data and milliseconds per like weapon push out and an attack.
That's just the FGC. That's just anybody who's into any fighting game to any competitive degree. That's what happens.
Brought that obsessive compulsive need into Monster Hunter. That's why. And
I still suck, and I'm still not as good as half the people I follow on Twitter. But all that said, this year we became part of the Capcom Creators Program, which is a big deal. I think that's a big deal. Actually, let's throw that Capcom Creators logo up here. Let's get it up there. We're not playing a Capcom game, but we're going to be talking about it a fair bit.
Yep.
So, yeah, we became Capcom Creators. Hey, Blackbeard Slim and I are here wishing you... Blackbeard Slim here wishing you a happy anniversary. Thank you, Slim.
Nice, man. Thank you.
Welcome in. Yeah, 3 years. It's been crazy. It's been 3 years already. But thanks for stopping in. So we became part of the Capcom Creators Program. To me, that's the big one, right? Because Capcom is like one of the biggest, most well-known gaming companies out there. And the fact that we get to partner up with them on so many different things, I am chomping at the bit for Street Fighter 6 now, because the only real Capcom game we play is Monster Hunter. I mess around with a little Street Fighter, but yeah, to be able to partner with them for Monster Hunter and future games is very exciting. And it's all you guys. You guys make this stuff possible. We hit 5,000 followers on Facebook.
Yep.
The fact that you could still get organic followers on Facebook in 2022 astounds me, because I thought that was over. But yeah, 5,000 strong on Facebook. Keep going. It's not about the numbers, but they're nice.
They're nice.
They're nice to see.
they make us feel like we're doing something worthwhile.
Yeah, and they do help a little bit with the algorithm, right? Our streams are now like more consistent with a set, amount of viewers and stuff, so it helps. We reviewed. Yeah, thank you for following. And Twitch. We really started on Twitch. I don't know. Oh, we made affiliate. Jesus,
Yep.
I didn't even put that on the list. So we made affiliate on Twitch, but we still haven't turned it on because we've been hemming and hawing about the consequences of becoming Twitch affiliate and co-streaming. But I think we're just gonna do it.
We just don't care about rules.
Let's ask for forgiveness rather than permission. So now we're officially announcing we're going to start our Twitch affiliate program. I guess I'll try and turn it on this weekend, and then my Tuesday stream will be our first Twitch affiliate stream, and I'll get to stream Monster Hunter one time before we get kicked out.
Yeah, I was about to say that's when we'll lose
it. We reviewed a bunch of games this year.
So, looking back at last year, it's kind of entertaining to see the parallels of how we did things. Because we reviewed Ninjala, ARMS, Pokemon Unite, Marvel Ultimate Avengers, and tried Mortal Kombat 11. Right?
Yeah.
And we also did a lot of things for Monster Hunter Streets of Rage, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Guilty Gear. So
yeah, I mean the Mr. X Nightmare, we partnered with Emu. That was our first big thing, was the Streets of Rage giveaway and review.
But this year we had a lot of games that I mean higher quality games to some extent, on par, maybe.
I think so. I mean, I think we're getting better at spotting when games have potential. What games? Yeah. I think we're pickier with games like, okay, we should invest time because we're trying not to do the one-off streams anymore because we get absolutely slammed by the algorithm. So when we review a game or when we stream a game or when we put time into a game, we're at least trying to make sure that game is worth streaming for a bunch of times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which Marvel Snap is one of those games. It's just like I'm having so much trouble juggling Monster Hunter and Splatoon and Marvel Snap. It's hard. It's hard out here.
So, I mean, you talk about what games we've reviewed this year, right? So, we've talked about where's our reviewed list for this year?
All the way at the top under what happened this year. The big one we reviewed.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Yes.
Go ahead. You started.
I mean, so looking at last year, right? We started out, one of our favorite games of the year for the year was Monster Hunter Rise, and that's really what helped propel us into the Capcom Creators Program and gave us a lot of our customer base, our fan base that grew our community. But this year they came out with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, the biggest launch additional content to that base game. And man, was there a lot there and a lot to do, and it was a lot of fun, and we played the heck out of that.
Yeah, and we got, like, not only do we play it and do all the things that we would normally do with games that we like, but we got hooked up. We got hooked up through the Capcom Creators Program. They gave us review copies. Like, we were part of the launch. We did the Hunter's Helper Happy Hour, Hamburger Hunter Helper Happy Hour, with Alec and stuff, which was super fun. But yeah, we were like a part of that launch in the same way we were a part of the Mr. X Nightmare launch. But I mean, I love Streets of Rage and Emu, but Monster Hunter is like, that's a big, it's on a much greater scale. So that was like, I was honored to be a part of that.
Yep. And we were also a part of the launch for Demio in VR. We had
for the PC version.
Yeah, PC version. I mean, we played VR, but we did the announcement for PC, but Demio is a great, we call it a Dungeons and Dragons esque role-playing tabletop down game. That was fabulous.
Yeah, it is a VR game.
Content.
I know. We need to play that. Let's make a dedication that we have to play that.
We have to play that in Phase 4.
I updated it like 2 days ago, so it's ready to go. I like updated it. Every single app I had on my headset was out of date.
Every
so
time
I was like,
put on my VR headset, it's Beat Saber or Half-Life Alyx. Like that's all I've been playing.
I checked out Gun Raiders, which is not as. Every time I go there, the updates like, I don't know. It gets a little weirder. But yeah, Demio. We need to play more of it. It's good. But yeah, doing that review, doing that stream was really fun.
Yeah. Yep. The next game that came out this year that was, I thought, if you've been following us for a long while, take a shot. There has been a lot of conversation about what's your favorite arcade cabinet game, what game from your youth, the retro games that you loved, and I have always said, I really like that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, that side-scroller game. Yeah, you remember that one? Yeah. Well, they made a new one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. Totally worth every penny.
Oh, it was amazing. It was good. That was another one. Huge thank you to Tribute Games and .emu for hooking us up. That's another one we got as a review copy a couple days in advance. Got to play it, release a video, actually when the game came out.
Yep.
That was, that is fun. We need to play through. We need to do an entire arcade mode playthrough on that.
That would be cool.
That would be tough because I'm rusty at this point.
We need a group of 4 if we're going to play.
Yeah. And we also did a giveaway for Windjammers 2. I think that was through Streamforge gave us those keys. Mm-hmm. But Windjammers 2, also a .emu game. We're very biased. We love .emu. Yeah, Windjammers 2, fun little versus game, a sequel to another old arcade game. I played a lot of that with Nick Yeti, and it's just such a fun game to play in person. You can play it online, but it's exciting in person. And we did the release and giveaway key for that, which was also very fun. It was good. Yep. So yeah, that's Sunbreak, Demio, TMNT, Windjammers. All games we reviewed this year. Who knows what things we'll get into in our third year here. We also had some big firsts. Where did you pull that from?
Just keep going. Pretend like you didn't see.
You just pulled a chicken carcass out of your ceiling. How am I going to ignore that? I'm really sorry for anybody who's just listening. This is prime example of why you need to watch it. Like Sandeep. Sandeep is watching it. Thank you for liking the stream.
To preemphasize this, as a part of our year 3, there were a lot of things that we did that we tried to expand out on our horizons as far as the type of games that we played and the type of games that we've entertained with our fans. We did an entire role-playing month, and the role-playing month included what's the
Tiny Tina's Tiny Tina's
Wonderland, and then we butted that up with our Demio playthrough, and then we ended the month strong with a true role-playing game, the grandfather of all role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons, and the Nintendads launched their first Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and that's when all of our fans got introduced to chicken meat.
Anybody who's just listening, you have to. There's no.
I'm chicken meat.
We need to do some stream alerts with chicken meat.
Yes.
Yeah, we had our first D&D campaign, which is still going. We didn't stream the third session, but the third session is recorded on YouTube. I have a real lack of understanding for the structure of your office now. I thought I knew what I saw, but I don't. Sean said, yo, that mask is fire. Oh, that's Blackbeard. I'm so bad with names.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we started our campaign, we had no idea that it was going to start. Corporal's like, all right, is everybody ready? All right, our story begins with a giant chicken head. And we're all like, what? This is not normal, right? This isn't how normal people play D&D.
No. I planned for months for that campaign. Like, even before...
It's so good. I need to play more. There's so many questions.
Before we even announced that we were doing the role-playing month, I had them plan that campaign set up, and it was spectacular.
Is glorious. Hold on. I need some more bean juice in my face. That's a little shout out to my character, Deox. We also did our first episode from the metaverse.
So that was a very strategically, or how to set that particular episode up.
That was, if you go back and you watch the metaverse episode, I have no idea. I think it's in the 40s, episode 40 something. That was the most complicated setup I've ever done for a stream, ever. We had our face cams with our VR headsets on, right? And then in the background, we had our VR selves talking to each other in VR in, I think it's Horizon's venues or Horizon workspaces.
Yeah.
But then in the virtual space, we had virtual monitors with the live chat, which could be seen on stream, and then we could also look at in real time in VR. And that doesn't sound crazy, but I assure you, it was crazy to set up and have work.
It's fun because we did 2 episodes back to back that month. This was December of last year. Episode 48 was the Nintendads Unplugged, where we sat out on...
Oh, yeah. Mimi Chan! Wait, we gotta shout out Mimi Chan. Good morning to you! Happy anniversary. Thanks for stopping by.
So, episode Unplugged was episode 48, where we sat out on our patios, fireside, to all of the board games and card games and analog games that we play with our families, our kids, and we gave great recommendations. And then the very next episode, episode 49, we plugged everything in.
Yeah. We had to balance it out. We need to do another unplugged episode because my taste in board games and card games has gotten refined. And by refined, I mean I got a kid's Happy Meal yesterday and it came with Pokemon cards. So now I'm a professional Pokemon cards
kids
player.
Happy Meal, and wasn't one of those adult Happy Meals?
No, I want the adult Happy Meal, but they didn't have it yet.
Okay.
That's an awesome idea, Unplugged. Yeah, the the Unplugged episode was fun. Y'all going to MagFest. So that's something we have talked about, is going to conventions, and then COVID happened and that kind of all blew up. But I mean, we are just about at the stage where I would consider going to conventions. I really want to go to PAX East.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. I really want to go to any convention that will give us a media badge. MagFest. I don't know. When is MagFest this year? And where is MagFest this year? It's on the East Coast. East Coast is a plus. Further out than sooner would be a plus, so we can plan for it, because it's hard for us both to align our schedules to get off at the same time.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, so we did D&D, we did the metaverse, and Corporal got married.
Yeah.
And I officiated it. I became religious for one day only.
For one day only.
First weekend after New Year's. That gives us some time to plan. Where is it? If it's in the Northeast, it's a total roll of the dice whether we're gonna get like massively dumped on with snow or not.
Yeah.
Also, for this year. We talked about it last year. But I swear to you, our website is almost finished. It really is. It's like very close. The Nintendads.com website is almost finished. Oh, it's in DC.
Okay.
That's very comfortable traveling distance for me. I don't know about you. I mean, you would have to catch a flight, right?
Yeah.
If you flew into Philly, we could drive down together. Oh my god, we could do a road trip episode.
Oh, that sounds fun. That does sound. You're giving us ideas.
All right. Thank you, Blackbeard. We will get back to you on that. So those are all the firsts. That's kind of a recap of what we had going on this year as far as accomplishments and reviewed games and firsts and all the accolades. But now let's talk about the games.
I dropped the Nintendads Unplugged episode in the chat, so those of you who want to go back and look at it, feel free.
Oh, nice. What number episode was it?
It was 48.
Ah, knew it.
It's weird because on the YouTube channel it's 47.
We screwed up a lot of episode numbers this year.
In the notes, it's 48. So I think it wasn't...
Whatever it is on Anchor and Facebook. Well, no, because Facebook's gotten messed up too. Whatever it is on Anchor and Spotify is the official number.
It's the official number.
Because by the time we upload it, we've figured out like where we've made mistakes.
Where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing. So Phase 3, we've had a great amount of accomplishments just this past year. Pulling this back up because I'm all discombobulated now. 69. Here we go. We obviously had accomplished our expansion from moving into streaming. We expanded into Twitch. We're building on the website. We've set up a bunch of partnerships and have a bunch of relationships with larger companies to be able to provide you guys with new content and fresh new games that are coming out. We've reached the affiliate mark on Twitch. We have an official name on YouTube now, so you could
the handle
youtube.com/@the-Nintendads. Like it's easier to find us, and like Presto said, the website is coming, so that will be launched here soon. So there's a lot of great, exciting things that are coming in this next phase of the Nintendads multiverse.
Yeah, and we're at that point where we want to start getting some other partnerships, other sponsorships. Like we're drinking beers and coffee and snacks on every episode. We want to try to lock in some sponsors. So if you know somebody who wants to sponsor the Nintendads, like Bernie, thank you for liking the stream. I don't think the New Jersey State Police would necessarily be in favor of sponsoring us, but you never know. I would get arrested on stream for a sponsorship.
Yeah. We can make that happen.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that this year. Hopefully, do some more cool giveaways, and then continue to work with the Capcom Creators Program. Blackbeard, you and I are gonna have to get busy on Street Fighter 6 when it comes out because I know you're getting it. But yeah, so on our 2-year episode last year, we talked about what our most anticipated games were going into the next year.
Yep.
And those games were, for me, well, I mean, for both of us, it was Splatoon 3, right? That was the big one because it was like, Splatoon's back, crazy, the announcement was out of nowhere. And then, of course, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. That's an expansion. We counted it as one of our most anticipated games. And then Corporal's baby. Halo. I'll let you.
I've loved Halo since Master Chief.
Since birth.
Since Master Chief dropped down on the ring in the first one, for Combat Evolved. I love me some Halo. Probably as much as I love me some Castle Crashers and Banjo-Kazooie. So you can't take the Halo and the Microsoft fanboy out of me. But Halo Infinite, we talked about our most anticipated games for this year. Halo Infinite definitely made a splash. It definitely was unique in what they chose to accomplish and brought a lot of brand new concepts to the scene as far as what a developer or a company can create a live service, always changing game. I just don't think it was executed well enough to be as exciting and as large of a launch as I wanted it to be.
Yeah. No Bayonetta 3. No, we're talking about what games we were anticipating last year. I don't think Bayonetta 3 was announced when we did our 2-year anniversary last year. And I don't play the Bayonetta games anyway. Sorry. I know they're good. They're supposed to be good.
My name is Jeff was playing Bayonetta 3.
Oh yeah, it just came out. Like it's a big deal. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, Halo Infinite. I was excited for the multiplayer because it's been a while. It's probably been since Overwatch that I have really gotten into a first-person shooter. And I thought Halo Infinite was going to be it. But they messed some things up on the multiplayer side. This is what I care least about, but this is probably what they got the most flack for. They went the free-to-play route, and the microtransactions were absolutely atrocious. That's really where they lost a lot of people. Because they're like, oh, spend like $6.99 so you can have one like shoulder piece. Like, they did not bring the level and volume of cosmetics to justify the price of the season pass and the individual microtransactions. Ironically, I think the coolest thing about Halo Infinite was probably the single-player campaign.
Yeah. It being a open world game that you can travel amongst all these different areas and take on different bosses and challenge these different outposts at any order and direction you want. In the very beginning, I was trying to figure out how I was able to dominate the most amount of outposts as possible, and glitched myself over a ravine where I was able to pick up an airship, and I just used the airship and just destroyed every single outpost. So I had like unlocked 7 or 8 outposts in a matter of 10 minutes, where it should have taken me like many hours. And like just being able to play with a sandbox, which is what Halo was known for. It's why the Halo Forge was so popular in the older days. So like they did a whole lot for it being a new installment, a new take, or a fresh look, a spiritual successor, if you will, of the franchise. It just didn't land as well amongst the fans.
Yeah, Blackbeard says Splitgate is greater than Halo Infinite. I don't know what Splitgate's like now, but I had a lot of fun playing Splitgate in anticipation for Halo.
Yeah.
It made my brain hurt, though. Halo I could get on and just kind of play. Splitgate, I had to be, like, paying attention. That was a big brain game. But yeah, I was actually surprisingly had a lot of fun with the Halo Infinite campaign. I'm still open to playing through co-op if they ever release it. I think that was a huge miss, too, is that they were like, so we're not going to launch with co-op, but it'll be right there. And now it's been like... Has it been out for a year?
It's delayed again. Yeah, so Monster Hunter Sunbreak Rise. I mean, that came out and it was very successful.
Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Listen, Halo Infinite was good. I liked Halo Infinite. It was good. It didn't have the longevity that I thought it was going to have, but it was good, right?
Yep.
It was good. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Oh my god. So good. where do I even start with that one? I mean, obviously we were part of the launch. It was very exciting. New levels, new monsters, new augments, new skills, like just there's a whole lot of stuff. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak had more content in it than base Rise. So when you think of Sunbreak as an expansion, it's almost like it's more of a full game than base Rise was, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot there. They've added a lot. They've given you obviously master rank, as well as all these new cosmetics, as well as all these new things you can do with the buddies, as well as I keep wanting to call him the alchemy guy.
The anomaly, Bahari, yeah.
Yeah. So like they've definitely added a lot to Sunbreak.
Yeah, I had an absolute blast. I went into it playing Gunlance, and thank the Capcom gods that they actually made Gunlance a viable weapon in the expansion. And it came out, and it was good. The end game was a little bit like so they released it, I played it, the hell out of it, got to the beginning of the end game, and I was like, okay, like I have a decent amount of stuff to do at the end game. But I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get through the end game. Like, I can see pretty much everything that I need to do. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. We'll worry about if the end game is shallow or not, like, when we get well into it. And then they released Content Update 1, which introduced Anomaly Investigations, which is basically... So the end game spoilers, I'm sorry, it's been out for too long. It's your problem if you haven't played it yet. The end game for Sunbreak was anomaly quests where you had these monsters, they're infected, they're stronger, more powered up versions of the monsters. And you fought all the monsters that were infected and powered up. And it was like you could see how much of that there was going to be. And maybe they add more, maybe they don't, whatever. But then they added Anomaly Investigations, which is similar to the endgame investigation system that they had in World, in that the game dynamically, procedurally generates random quests with increasing levels of difficulty. So essentially you just have infinite endgame, and you grind and you work and you level them up little bit by bit. And in the next update, Content Update 2, they had added a bunch of new weapons and monsters, but in Content Update 2, they also raised the cap of the Anomaly Investigations. So I'm only at Anomaly Investigation level 70, maybe 73 is my top one, and now I think the cap is 120. So as much as
went up that high.
As much as I have played Sunbreak, I am still only midway through the end game content, which is kind of crazy because you know how much I've played that game and streamed it.
Yep.
Also, they're adding some amazing quality of life stuff in the next update that they haven't even announced all of it, but they announced that gun lances are going to be able to upgrade to level 8 shelling for every weapon, which basically now instead of only having 3 weapons to choose from in gun lance, I have many. I'm getting way too specific. But Sunbreak met my expectations for how good it was going to be. 100%. The difficulty, it's tough to say because I feel like it could be a little bit more difficult and I would still really like it. But from last year to this year, I've gotten way, way better because I started focusing on playing Gunlance and stick with one weapon, and that's become I've become like a specialist. And I follow on the Gunlances in Twitter, and I know a lot of the data, so I don't know if I've just gotten better or if the difficulty really is kind of like whatever, but that would be my only thing, is that I hope, and I think there will be. There's definitely going to be harder stuff. I mean, the really hard stuff for Monster Hunter World wasn't released until the end of till well into Iceborne's like DLC stuff. So I think it'll continue to
Yeah.
get harder. I think it'll continue to get better. We're on our weekly event quests now that I need to catch up on, which will be the Tuesday stream. But yeah, Rise Sunbreak absolutely blew me away and met my expectations. And the story was kind of good too, which for a monster game, that's very unusual.
It's definitely better than most of the other games of these types. What was the one that was out on Xbox? It was Crossfire. We played it for a while. It had like zero story.
Dauntless?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dauntless. I did not care for the story.
I don't know if there was a story. It was like, these monsters look mean. Let's kill them and make them into outfits.
Yeah, basically. So, what's
last on the list for most anticipated games that we talked about last year to this year is Splatoon 3. Which we've only had for a little bit over a month.
I'll be honest with you. So, if you watched our party stream that we did the other day, Splatoon 3 was an absolute janky mess. Broken to all hell. And you all wanted to sit there and blame my internet and say that it was all my fault, but everybody was asleep in the house. Nobody was using any other internet. I went down and all the lights were off, so it wasn't like anybody else was downstairs partying on the Xbox and downloading 10 gigabyte games or anything. Discord ran video and audio no problem the entire time. Yet the Nintendo servers had a problem with me and with all of us, and kept having communication errors. From the demo of Splatoon 3, the launch of Splatoon 3, and now, it was going great. It got better, and then it crashed and burned. I have no idea what's going on with Splatoon 3 from a technical standpoint because of the communication errors and everything. The game itself, when it runs, I think is great, but they need to fix their face. It is horrible. That was trash.
So, yes, there's a lot to unpack there. Yeah, for a second I like spaced out. I was like, wait, am I listening to myself talk about Smash? Because all of this sounds very familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, so Splatoon 3 launched. The mechanics, the gameplay, the speed, the movement. Chef's kiss. Great. We did a review episode on it. You can go watch that. Really, really good. But in our review episode, we said the biggest problem was matchmaking because the game had just come out. So matchmaking needed to get sorted. And the disconnects. The server, well, more specifically, two kind of technical aspects. The disconnect, so matches getting disconnected, getting kicked out of the lobby, just straight up like error messages was one issue. The second issue was in-game latency with people rubber banding around, shooting people and them not getting killed, people splatting you after you've already splatted them for a second. So kind of two technical issues. For a while, it seemed like the disconnects were getting better. But then they released this last patch that was supposed to improve the speed and work on that second problem of latency between players. And I am seeing more disconnects than I have before. I will say we continued playing after you got off the other night and we didn't have the issue. So it's definitely something with your... And we've played before.
You and I have played dozens.
You have to get a wired connection. You have to. I will buy. When's your birthday? In the summer. I don't care. I will buy you a wired adapter. You have to.
I got to buy a wired adapter, and I got to run another 20-foot cable of Ethernet.
Oh, I'll send you the link because I'm running a 20-foot cable across my office. Actually, it might be 25 feet. I think I ordered 25 to give myself a little wiggle room.
Across the floor, so I'll have to drill another hole in the wall, go up into the attic, run it across the attic over to Lady Sage's office, and drop it down into her office and hook it up to where the router is.
And that is a perfect encapsulation of, I think, how we feel about Splatoon 3. Is that it's really good. And that the gameplay is so good that it's worth putting up with the nonsense of the disconnects for now. Eventually, we're going to run out of patience, though, right? Yeah. I cannot continue to put my heart and time and effort into Splatoon 3 if they don't fix their shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's my warning shot. Splatoon 3 is an amazing game, but it's 2022, guys. It's not, Mom, don't pick up the phone, you'll disconnect me. But that's how it feels. I feel like I'm back in the 90s. Get it together. Other than that, Splatoon 3 is great. It's fantastic. I was going to say something else about Splatoon 3, and I forgot. Yeah, it's good when it works, but, like, they got to figure that stuff out. Anyway. So those were kind of our three, Halo Infinite, Splatoon 3, and Sunbreak, our most anticipated games going into this year. Now, what were the other games that we played this year that we really enjoyed? We've already talked about some of them because we did reviews and giveaways for some of these.
Yeah, I mean, Demio, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge were the two that we've already spoken about.
Yes.
Demio being absolutely fabulous. If you're looking for that board game, top-down RPG style.
And you can now play it in mixed reality. So you put on your VR headset, and the pass-through allows you to see your environment, and then you can put the game on a surface in real life, which is pretty dope. I haven't tried it yet, but...
Or you can play it on Steam using the PC version, and you don't even need the VR headset.
Yeah, it's crossplay. It's pretty crazy that it's crossplay.
It's crossplay. So don't just think that because we're talking about having a VR headset that you need a VR headset to play this game. It is a fabulous game without the VR headset.
Yeah, it's worth playing.
The VR headset just brings it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's cool.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, you get that arcade-style side-scrolling game that you loved back as kids. You talk about the old X-Men games and whatnot. Like, it is a fabulous
I would love a remake of the old X-Men arcade co-op game. I would be all over that. Please. Please, please. Oh, it's so good.
So I'm going to leave this third one to last because there's something I kind of want to say about that.
Okay.
But the Street Fighter 6 beta, you said that you played the beta.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Oh, jeez. I have so much. So, similar to Splatoon, the first 20 hours of the beta were me repeatedly slamming my head against my keyboard. Which, it's a beta. That happens. I had to reinstall my entire video card drivers to get it to work. And then the disconnect stops. There was some weird interaction with the version of my video card, and then when it was like doing the handshake through the servers, it would boot me. I don't know. But I got it to work, and oh shit. We're cursing on this episode now. That's just where I'm at. I had more fun with the Street Fighter 6 beta than I've had with a fighting game in a long time. Probably since Guilty Gear Strive. And maybe even more fun than Guilty Gear Strive. Because Guilty Gear Strive didn't have a beta. I just looked at it. I decided I was getting into it. I got it. I learned it. I played it. I liked it. I played a lot with Blackbeard, actually. That's how we met. Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6. It's so good. It's got some really interesting mechanics with the drive meter. But the big thing for me with Street Fighter 6, and this is going to be a controversial hot take that if Nick Yeti ever sees this episode, he's going to flame me for. Street Fighter 6 is the game that gets simplified inputs right. And by simplified inputs, I mean, if you want to do a Dragon Punch, the Shoryuken, right? Important move in fighting games. You have to do forward, down, down, forward, punch. And I have trouble doing shit like that. I do. I have trouble with motion inputs. I have trouble remembering them in the middle of combos and stuff. I have slow hands, even though I've played Melee. Maybe that's why I have slow hands. Now I have arthritis or something. But Street Fighter 6 allows for simplified inputs, so instead of having to do those inputs and then a thing, sort of like Smash style, I can just hold forward and hit a dedicated special button and perform those inputs 100% reliably.
Yep.
Similarly, you can hold an assist button and you can string together auto combos that do a decent amount of damage and then automatically end with a special. And I won a lot of matches. I won way more matches than I lost during the beta because of the simplified controls. And I'm sure as the game comes out, people will learn how to play it and I'll get stomped. But having the simplified controls allowed me to focus on thinking about the game instead of thinking about my execution. And for that moment when I started using them and I realized what was happening, that's an instant pre-order buy on day one for me. The netcode, juicy rollback netcode. Very, very nice. Only a couple times I had a problem with it. The game is returning back to its sort of more urban feel, like think Third Strike, to where they have graffiti, they have some hip-hop beats, I like the flavor of it a lot. Corporal, I will probably try to suck you into it. Probably not.
I'm not a huge fighting game fan. I mean, I've played Marvel, I've played Multiverse, I played Mortal Kombat, I played Smash, I played Brawlhalla. Like, I've played these games, and while they're okay here and there, like as the casual, or maybe when you're sitting with a group of friends, maybe, but to play them, like, and if you've been following us long enough, take a shot. Like last week, maybe, we did a story mechanics graphics episode. We all know that I am a story. I love the story.
Street Fighter 6, it's going to have a dedicated open world story mode.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Unless it's on par with the Injustice series, it's not worth it.
It's not going to be. It's not gonna, you can't.
That's
a high bar to get over there.
Yeah. So I'm going to gracefully say thank you for your offer.
You should try, because they're gonna do it. They have to do an open beta. You should at least try it in open beta, because I think the simplified controls will be a reason for you to play it if you play it. It's easier to play than Mortal Kombat.
I mean, I know this is going to be discussed in our next section, which we're getting to really quickly here, but there's so many other games that are coming out real soon that I've got much more of an interest on.
That's true, yeah.
And, I mean, speaking of other games that we played this year, Multiverse, which is the DC version of a fighting game, which, when it came out...
Well, I would say more specifically, it's the DC version of Smash. It's the DC platform Brawlhalla killer that didn't really kill anything except a lot of people's patience with platform fighters.
So, yet again, it was a great concept. When it first came out, it did a lot of things better than what Smash was doing.
Connection.
Taking a shot at you, Nintendo. Like, this is the third title now that we've discussed that maybe your connection is the problem.
Conversely, now you're setting the bar very low.
So, I mean, Multiverse is really good, but I think the market is being saturated with too many platform fighters that everybody is looking for it to be the next big Smash, and nothing can beat what Smash is because of its name recognition and character recognition. The problem is that Smash itself is littered with so many bugs that purists like Presto over here have a heartburn just dealing with it. So while things like Multiverse and Brawlhalla And what was the other one that came out recently?
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Like, while these games are great and they are fun, and if you want to stick to that pocket, you're fine. Whatever, sure, it's another one.
Multiverse, I think it had a lot of cool concepts, and they framed it around being a 2v2 team platform fighter, which was an interesting take.
Yep.
It wasn't technically solid enough. They had good rollback code, seemingly at first, but the more you played it and the more you tried to get into it, the more jank came to the surface. And it just, as people figured it out, I feel like the game got slower as people figured out options rather than speeding up. And I don't know. I don't have it installed anymore. Actually, I might, but probably not.
I have it installed, but
I'm not playing it. Yeah. It's not happening. So that was a big game that was kind of a disappointment, but it was fun. It was worth playing. I don't regret playing it.
But Marvel Snap.
Yes!
Snap came out, and it was like that much better. Marvel Snap. So, for those of you who don't know, Marvel Snap is a card.
It's so good. I'm still not sick of the theme music.
So, Marvel Snap is a card-based game. You get a deck of cards, your opponent gets a deck of cards, and each cards have different stats, different abilities, and you play your cards in different areas in hopes to overpower and defeat your opponent. And every round is different because the 3 locations that you can play on change. Each location has their own buffs or perks or hazards to deal with, and the deck of cards that you get can shuffle, so every interaction may be a different rotation of cards, and you can collect different cards to add to your deck and then change your deck around and enhance and grow your deck. And then there's obviously the cosmetic aspect to it where you can upgrade and level your cards so that there's frame break and animation and all these cool things. So like, it's pretty neat.
Also, the key thing with Marvel Snap that separates it from like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or Legends of Runeterra is matches are 6 turns. That's it. 3 minutes.
Unless you get that one location.
Oh, like yeah.
Limbo.
Limbo. There's 7 turns. I hate that location.
Actually, that location's the one reason why I was going to lose my one match, and then I won because that 7th rotation gave me the chance.
See, my deck is built around 6 turns. At the end of 6 turns, my deck is gassed out. But yeah, they're 3-minute matches. They're really fast. They're snappy. And the snap, so a lot of people have asked, like, oh, why would I play Marvel Snap like when there's Legends of Runeterra or Hearthstone? And I've always explained it that Marvel Snap, a game of Marvel Snap is more similar to a hand of poker than it is to any of the aforementioned games like Hearthstone or Legends of Runeterra. Because, I mean, you do build your deck. It is a collectible card game, so you put your own deck together, so it's not totally random cards. But when you start the game, your whole rank and your whole progression is based on these things called cubes. And when I'm playing my opponent, we each put up a cube, and whoever wins takes both cubes. But at any point during the match, you can snap and raise the stakes to 2 cubes. So now I raise, and my opponent says, okay, fine. And if they don't do anything, now the stakes are raised to 4 cubes. And then if they're confident and they re-raise, now the max bet value you can get is 8 cubes. And at any point you can retreat, right? So if I start the match, I get a really bad hand, my opponent is playing me, they snap and they say, all right, I'm raising the bet, and I say, oh, hell no, I can retreat and only lose my 1 cube that I put up to start the match. Yeah. So the betting aspect and the raising the stake aspect, because I've psyched people out of matches where it looked like I was going to win, and I had an absolute crap hand, and I raised the bet, and they left, and I was like, oh, I can't believe it. So there's some psychological betting aspects. But yeah, Marvel Snap is good. Like, I want to stream it more. I just need to find places to stream it, like in our schedule. But it's good. It's free. You can play it on PC and mobile. It's based around mobile, so it's technically a mobile game, but it's good.
Listen, lies the problem. We've got Marvel Snap, you've got Monster Hunter, you've got Splatoon, and you've got all these great games that are coming out soon.
Ain't nobody got time to play Multiverses.
So, the last game, which was one of our favorite games over this past year, and this game is on here because it deserves to be on here, because it was groundbreaking and unique enough for the series, but whether or not it is our favorite game of the year may let to be seen. But we're talking about Pokemon Arceus.
Whew.
So
nobody saw it coming.
It's a Pokemon game, right? Like, it's already an A game. Like you
well, I haven't played. I mean, Sword and Shield, if you ask the majority of the population, was not a great game. You loved it.
Sword and Shield was a fabulous game. It may not have been as in-depth as they advertised it.
Okay, that's fair.
But it was a good game. Okay.
It was a solid entry.
And if you put Sword and Shield up against any of the previous Pokemon games that were not online connected, it was an excellent game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So that's their problem, is that they advertised it as it being more than what it was. Pokemon Arceus is doing a lot of the things that people hoped to have acquired from Sword of Shield, and then some.
Yeah.
So
Arceus was killer.
Arceus had the open world concept so much better than what Sword and Shield did. They truly took that concept and expanded upon it. And if you go back to one of our first episodes, if you've been watching us long enough, take another shot. One of our first episodes, we talked about Sword and Shield, and Nick Yeti went on a cursing rant about Pokemon, and Presto had to use his editing skills.
I remember that.
So, if you recall that episode, I had said that Pokemon needs to do what Breath of the Wild did and completely change the mechanics of the game and do an open world concept. We all thought that Sword and Shield was going to be that open world concept. It was a test run. It was like
a window. It had It had a window that you could look out into the open world and like stick your arm out, and that was it.
There was one small section of Sword and Shield that was open world-esque. Arceus truly became open world.
Well,
you had the main hub, and then you had the open world hub. So like,
yeah, because truly open world is no loading.
Correct.
You can walk, and you can walk from one end of the map to the other, and there's no loading, and there's no hub. Arceus was great. I'm not knocking Arceus's structure. It was, majority of it was open world. It wasn't 100% open world, because you had the hub world, you launched into your region, you could explore that area, but if you wanted to go to the next area, you had to go back to the hub world, and then to the other area.
Or fast travel to that hub, yeah. I look at it more like islands.
Yeah.
So, and in comparison, Sword and Shield, the island.
Yeah.
You at home, I'm doing air quotes. The island is like my backyard in comparison to what Arceus provided. Arceus provided huge open landscapes that you can explore.
Yes.
So, Pokemon Arceus was fabulous.
Definitely a highlight of this past year. You know what? Before we transition into our most anticipated games from next year, Metroid Dread was a game I didn't talk about being anticipated. It came out, and I was on the fence about getting it. Everybody talked it up. I finally got it. I maybe got 4 hours into it, and now it's sitting on Wernicke's desk because I let him borrow it. Because I was like, I can't...
I was wondering why there's a gap over there behind you over your shoulder. There's that little square that's...
Well, no, that's because I have the Splatoon 2
Oh.
And Monster Hunter Case both over here. Usually Splatoon would be over there, but I've been hot swapping games.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, that did used to have Metroid Dread up there. But yeah, so those were the games we liked over this past year. Most anticipated games for next year. Let's continue on with the Pokemon.
Pokemon Arceus, Pokemon Sword and Shield had an open world concept. It was a demo. It was a test run.
It had a backyard. I like that. I like the idea of that it had a backyard. You could go out and you could play in the backyard wherever you wanted as long as you stayed in the backyard.
Yep. And then they still allowed you to do the traditional linear gym circuit in order to beat the game. Like, that was still there.
Yeah, go through the story mode.
Yeah, which was fabulous, which is why I liked it. It was very reminiscent of the original concepts of Pokemon, so you were able to go to these different areas, go to these different gyms, get these different Pokemon, and progress forward. And there was a story that was there. There was a purpose for it all. It was a good game. Pokemon Arceus took that and opened up the backyard onto the rest of the island that house sat in. You still had to go back to the house so that you can go back out and go to the next adventure, but you had the whole island that was there too. Our most anticipated game for next year, for me, I truly think, besides one other that's on this list, is Pokemon Scarlet and Ruby. Because it is...
Wait, that's not right. It's Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, I was like, Ruby.
Wait, Violet was already out.
It's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Not violence, Violet. And one of the big things that they're advertising is that they are going to take all the concepts that they learned from Sword and Shield and from Arceus, and they are going to give us what they originally advertised with Sword and Shield and make it truly an open world game. Like,
yes,
100% open world game. And to raise the bar slightly, they are going to make it multiplayer.
That now, there's so much. I'm not like a huge diehard Pokemon fan. I played the original, really haven't played much since. I messed around with the card games. I've played Go a bunch. But I feel like Scarlet and Violet...
Fate Maker, happy Sunday. Welcome in.
Yeah, welcome in. I feel like the story or the significance of Scarlet and Violet has been going on for years, because I feel like they did Sword and Shield, and this was the test run of how this concept would look, of something open world.
Had they advertised Sword and Shield as the test run for open world, then
everybody would have skipped it.
I guarantee you the player base would have accepted it more.
The expectations would have been more in line, but I think I think it would have hurt their sales. I think people who played it would have been more satisfied and been happier. But I think it would have affected their sales if they said...
From a marketing standpoint, they had to lie to us in order to sell it.
Yeah, so I think it started with that, and then Arceus is really where they fleshed it out. They're like, what does this really look like if we build the gameplay around this open world concept? Yep. And I feel like... And even when we played Arceus, we were playing it, and people would be like, oh yeah, there's some points, it's a little rough around the edges. This feels like a proof of concept for whatever the next game is going to be. And I almost guarantee that Scarlet and Violet was developed alongside Arceus. I think, hey, Garfield, Rex, thank you for following. And Jeremy, thank you for liking and sharing the stream. Oh my god, that's not your dog, is it?
No.
I feel like Sword and Shield came out and it went and they said, all right, we're going to split the team. Team A, you're doing Arceus. Team B, you're doing Scarlet and Violet. And they developed them along the same path, and Arceus finished and launched first because it's a shorter, more simpler game. Scarlet and Violet being truly open world, you can do, there's 3 stories. You can do one of them, you can do all of them, you can do them in any order.
Yeah.
That's fundamentally different than any other Pokemon game that there's been. And then the fact that you can have 4-player co-op multiplayer, that's another bomb. That's never been in a Pokemon series.
Nope. And like they even advertised that I can jump into your world and you can go over to the Snow Kingdom and I can jump over and go over to the Jungle Kingdom while we are still playing together in your world.
Yeah, I think that's pretty crazy, and I think it's, looking at the list, I would say that it's,
close the door.
I would say that it's maybe my most anticipated game of the year. There's not a lot of big launches that are coming out in the next year that I'm truly excited for. There's another one on this list that I'm very excited for. But Pokemon, like if we look at last year, Halo Infinite, I was pretty excited for. Splatoon 3 and Sunbreak, I was like going nuts for. For this coming year, I think Scarlet and Violet is my most anticipated one. And I think it's going to be the one that does the best. Well, yeah. I don't know.
I'm most excited for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because I feel like we're going to be able to play it with our friends online. We're going to be able to play it with our community and our fans. You and I are going to be able to play it together, which is going to make co-streams a whole lot more fun. I can still do it on my solo stream, so I'll be able to keep playing it. This is something I'll be able to play with my son. You'll be able to play it with yours. We can incorporate our kids with it. My son, who goes to his mother's house during some of the week, I'd still be able to play with him. We can continue our story together. Like, there's a lot to this that I am very much excited about.
Yeah, it's gonna be feature rich. What I'm curious about that I haven't heard, and maybe it's just because I haven't been paying attention to all the news and updates, but I want to know how PvP is gonna work in Scarlet and Violet, because I know they've talked about, like, you can challenge people anywhere, but I'm wondering if there's going to be sort of a structure, like online ranking or anything.
I imagine that there's going to be two options. I think if they're going to do it right, they have to do two options. One is where you're out in the world and you can turn on online PvP, and you and I can decide to fight each other because we are already joined in the same world.
Yeah, people that are already in your lobby.
Or we can then go to a local gym and hook up to the online battle system
and have it do matchmaking for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I think that if there is an online matchmaking, that's what I think it'll be.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to be, because Sword and Shield had that, and I didn't get super into the PvP on Sword and Shield because I did some reading and research, and it was like, okay, here's one Pokemon that you need to be competitive online.
Yep. Yeah.
And it took me like 6 hours to get the Pokemon in the condition that I needed, and that was one Pokemon of 6.
Yeah.
For one variation of a team, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this. This is crazy. The other thing that I'm interested to know is how important or how engaging the multiplayer is going to be. Because, like, yeah, we can be running around the same area, we can be catching, we can be battling, but, like, and there's going to be raids. I think raids is going to be the big thing for multiplayer, because you can do raids similar to Sword and Shield. But Sword and Shield's raids were very, like, sort of one-dimensional. It was like you queued in, you fought them, that was it. I'm curious to know what the co-op is actually going to be like when we're playing it. Like, is it going to be, okay, we're going out in this area, and I'm going to go this direction, you're going to go this direction. And if I find, oh my god, there's a rare Pokemon, come over here, you're going to come follow me, do the thing. Or it's going to be like, oh my god, I found a raid, get your butt over here. Everybody's going to come. Is it going to be like that, to where we're passively playing and we're going to encounter these elements or the events that cause us to converge and cooperate? Or is it going to be something where we are shoulder to shoulder pushing through challenges the entire time we're playing?
But they tell you that you're allowed to go in separate directions and do your own thing. So it doesn't necessarily. I viewing this as Destiny. Destiny allows you to join up
Yeah.
with your people. You land on the planet, and I go this way, you go that way. I happen to run into a dropship that's coming down, dropping off a tank and a bunch of bad guys. I can let you know where my location is, and you can come with me and help me fight this global event that's
Yes.
here.
Melissa, thank you
And
for liking the stream.
welcome in. And that's how I view it. That's how I see it happening.
Yeah, I just hope that those moments where you have to converge and cooperate are frequent. Because I can, if it's not done with the correct pacing, I can see us playing multiplayer and like forgetting that we're in the same world. You know what I mean?
True. Okay. I also feel like that because it's Pokemon and because they have to be able to have certain things, there's probably going to be an aspect of it where you your progression on my world probably won't affect what happens when I am not playing with you.
Yeah,
And
I
it
mean,
probably
obviously you
won't
keep the
affect you.
Pokemon, but yeah, like you probably
Yeah.
can't. If we clear a gym in your world, that probably is not going to affect the gym clears in my world. Yeah, and
And I
that
could
makes sense.
that makes sense to me. I could be wrong because and this is a horrible example, but um Overcooked All You Can Eat Edition, which is cross-platform play and multiplayer option Overcooked, allows you to hop into another person's world and cook your way through the season. And when you go back to your own thing, the accomplishments that you made and the stars that you've earned have translated to your saved file as well.
That would be
So
cool, and it's
that would be
possible
cool.
because the
Yeah,
gyms are all independent from one another.
exactly. So you can be like,
So
this is put a flag here. This one is completed. When you go back to your world, that flag is still there. Like that. That to me makes sense.
yeah, I wonder if it might work on like a gym badge system to where like I cleared the water gym, I have the badge, so now in
Yeah.
my game it responds to me having that badge.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The more I talk about it and the more I'm thinking about it, I've been so engrossed in Marvel Snap and Splatoon, I haven't really like gotten hype about it. But now that we're talking about it and it's November in a day,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get more excited about it.
Yeah. I can't.
Next on the list, most anticipated, I've already gushed about this game a bunch already, Street Fighter 6. Unfortunately, Street Fighter 6 looks like it's going to be coming out in the spring. Capcom did their earnings report, and it looks like the major games are going to be dropping after April. So I think we're probably going to get a spring release, which, I mean, I can't really complain. But I think the game has a lot of work to be done on the single player because the multiplayer hub was, like, fully functional. Like, it was in really, really good shape for a beta. Aside from my technical difficulties to start it off, it looked like ready, but I think they need to polish up all that first for single player content and like things like that. And if they launch it in the spring, a lot of the major fighting game community events, tournaments, big stuff like that, Evo, are all throughout the summer into the fall. So I think that timing works from like an esports standpoint. But I'm hyped for Street Fighter 6. It's going to be cross-play at launch. So if you get it for Xbox, Yeti gets it for PlayStation, I get it for PC, we can all play together, which is very
that's
cool.
all I care about. Yeah.
Yeah. What's next on this list, Corporal?
So, Breath of the Wild is probably one of my favorite games, and there's been a huge part of me that's kind of wanted to replay Breath of the Wild. But
Here, wait, you gush about this for a second. Let me go shut something real quick. Hold on.
not a problem. But Breath of the Wild 2 was announced, and I am so excited about the concept of Breath of the Wild 2 coming out. From the videos and the content that's been released, I don't know if I'm excited about the Breath of the Wild 2 that they're going to give us, but I am very excited for the ability to see what happens. When Breath of the Wild 2 was very first announced, we all know that Breath of the Wild 2, very first announced, was essentially a Breath of the Wild 1 DLC that was taken and expanded upon to become Breath of the Wild 2 standalone. that's all well and good. That's spectacular. You know what? I believe in what you're trying to shoot for there. Yes, let's do that. That's great. Fabulous. Cool. Let's go. Okay. But when they announced it the first time, it looked as if Breath of the Wild was going to be a Majora's Mask. And Breath of the Wild 2 no longer looks like a Majora's Mask-esque game. It looks like it's a Skyward Sword game that has
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild concepts. Like, I don't know. I'm very excited. I want to play it. I want to see where it goes. I hope that it's spectacular. It has a lot riding on its shoulders.
I was not, like, when they announced Breath of the Wild 2, I never even completed Breath of the Wild 1. It's on my list, my long list of backlog games to play. I will probably get Breath of the Wild 2 on launch, just because we're the Nintendads. We have duties to you.
Yeah.
And but
I'll be honest with you, if Breath of the Wild is interesting enough and you as the fan base wants to see it, I will religiously stream it for you every Sunday, because that'll be the time that I get to play it.
yeah, you have to stream it. I mean, we have to stream it when it comes out, but, like,
Yeah.
as far as it being, I haven't seen anything that they've shown from Breath of the Wild 2 that made me excited yet. And that, to me, is a big red flag, because they've been talking about it for, like, 2 years. And if they haven't sold me on it in 2 years, I don't know that they're going to. And so this is something, this is an idea. This is not news. This is not based in anything that we've seen. At one point, you said, what if Breath of the Wild 2 was co-op? What if they shoehorn that in there? And I said, that would sell me. That would get me excited. That would be the thing that... And maybe they're holding it. Maybe they're waiting to drop that bomb.
I said that comment simply because I took a step back and I looked at Nintendo's landscape about what games they have provided for us over these past couple years. And they recently released Four Swords, Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, or where?
Oh, the Minish Cap, yeah.
The Four Swords one, where you had the 4 different characters.
Yeah, that was on the DS originally, I think. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, like, that was a release. You have Pokemon, which you're now giving multiplayer to. They've updated their rollback netcode, which they announced with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, the multiplayer servers.
They gave Monster Hunter a really good run for its money. We are in a post-COVID world where online multiplayer and couch co-op games are dying and online multiplayer is thriving. We are more disconnected than what we have been in quite a while since the generation of Zeldas have been ever released. And they have proven that online play is where longevity comes from. We have seen what they have done, Nintendo has done with all of these games up to this point, and yet again I go back to that original release trailer where it looked very Majora's Mask-esque and dark and scary, and when that trailer was released they had said there will be more focus on Zelda and Link. It was something that they originally said. They have since walked away from that. It's no longer something they say anymore. But I thought that it would be a very interesting concept if one person could play Zelda and one person could play Link. Like, make it a co-op. Make it the option. Like, ooh, you have this open world concept for Pokemon. You have multiplayer. You're releasing these games pretty close together from each other. They're in the middle of production of each other. This is Nintendo. Like, this is a possibility. Although the Pokemon company is completely separate from the Zelda.
Yeah, but it's still the trend, right?
Yep. So, like, that would be... Oh, I get myself hyped up for the idea. It's not gonna happen. I'm telling you now, it's not gonna happen. That is not something that
But
Nintendo is gonna do.
they
But
also need something in Breath of the Wild 2 other than it's more Breath of the Wild. They need to follow Breath of the Wild because it was such a leap forward. I think it needs to have some unique thing other than it's Breath of the Wild, but you fall a lot. Like,
yeah.
and it's called Tears of the Kingdom. So that, to me, there has to be something to that, other than people crying that it's been delayed so many times. There has to be some nugget of what we can look forward to, Tears of the Kingdom. And I really don't know. I mean, you said you thought it was going to be like a Noah's Ark situation where there was a flood. Still could be Tears of the Kingdom. Everybody cried so much.
Well, so in Skyward Sword, was it Skyward Sword? One of the Zelda games, you had the ground, and another Zelda game, the ground got flooded and everybody went to the sky, and then you had the sky. And in Skyward Sword, you came back down to the islands and you worked your way through and you helped to resist the flood. And in alternate universes, people have said that, was it the Mission Cap? No, it was Wind Waker.
Where everything was water.
Yeah, and the whole reason you were on a boat was because of that other game where the ground got flooded. Like, there is interconnected multiverses and different timeline events that people believe that the ground got flooded. That's why there's the Sky Islands, and that you could save the ground from releasing the water. But in the other alternate universe, that's why they were boats. Like, there's all this concept that's deep within the lore, and even Nintendo themselves have released booklets, like whole like how-to guides of the timeline that dictate, like, hey, these are things that are a part of the overarching universe of the Zelda series. Like, it's very possible for them to do something like that.
And they need to tap into that. They need to either tap into the connected universe, or they need to come up with a mechanic or, like, gameplay element. But I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe that they're going to.
I mean, we talked about, what's that other game where you can play as each one of the characters in this giant battle thing?
The Warriors, Hyrule Warriors?
Yes, Hyrule Warriors, thank you. My coffee is not kicked in. Hyrule Warriors, you have the ability of playing of all these other characters. It's such a great concept to bring Zelda, the pinnacle character and aspect of all this entire series, to fight alongside Link. Like, allow Link to have a companion. Allow that companion to be the girl who he's constantly trying to save. Like, in this feminist-driven, women are equal world, and we're trying to give fair shake to everybody, allow Zelda to be the hero.
Right? It feels like the right time to make Zelda a playable character. It's co-op! It's co-op! They're not going to do it.
It's such a perfect time. Do it. Nintendo, if you're listening, like, we need a raise. Just saying.
If they do come out with co-op, though, we're going to have some editing to do, because we're going to have to go through and pull out every time where we said, if Breath of the Wild 2 was multiplayer, co-op, Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, it's not in the title, it's Tears of the Kingdom, but it's two. It's two people. Like,
come on.
If Breath of the Wild 2 is co-op, that will be our co-stream for a long time.
For forever.
Until we play through the entire campaign on Legendary, at least.
Yeah. All about it.
Other than that, I feel like there's not that much. There's Pokemon for both of us. There's Street Fighter for me. There's Zelda mostly for you.
Yeah.
I played a little indie game called Bravery and Greed recently. That was pretty damn fun. And that's coming out in a couple weeks. That's actually coming out right before Pokemon, for
I'll be honest with you,
better or
Bravery
for
and Greed
worse.
looks like a great game, but I don't know if it'll make it to our stream schedule.
So I played the demo a bunch. It's a co-op side-scroller roguelite. It's a lot of words, but it's fun. It's like a little 2D dungeon crawler. It's definitely got replayability. You have different classes. When I played multiplayer, it was very buggy. It was very laggy. And that needs to get fixed.
I think we can start maybe announcing that we can do private streams in our Discord channel.
It's true.
For games like this.
Yes.
So our Discord community can come in, hang out with us. We can do a private stream in Discord so that it's not messing with our algorithm on Twitch or Facebook, and you guys can still watch us do the stream, and we can play these games so that you guys can kind of hang out with us. That would be a good idea.
We should, you know what? We've not talked a ton about this, but I think that needs to be a thing, and it'll be called, we could call it like the Nintendads After Hours streams.
After Hours was a concept title for us.
After Hours. Dads After Dark. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
The underground streams. And during those streams, we can play whatever music we want, too.
Yes.
So those will be extra lit. Those will be the streams that we continue after the ones that we can't show publicly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bravery and Greed, it's a 50-50 on whether I think it's going to be a game that we actually play and stream or not. It's fun. And it's coming out for Switch, and it's probably going to be priced very reasonably because it's a little indie game. I'll probably get it. Actually, I'll probably wait and see what people say about the multiplayer, because the multiplayer during the demo I did not have great experiences with. But I was like playing with a lot of people from very far away. So, another one that's coming out is, and I can't even believe that I put this on the list, but I have to because it's just that big.
Okay, I will preface this by saying it may not be the most anticipated game of anyone's list, but considering how much of a social impact this game caused when it was first released on the phone, it almost cannot be released without having more of a splash.
It can't be ignored.
I'll be honest with you, the fact that it's coming out so soon and there's no big advertisement about it tells me something.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is Among Us VR.
So Among Us took the world by storm when it was released on mobile. And honestly, it had been out for quite a while. It just recently became popular and everybody loved it. And now they're coming out with a VR headset version of this game where it's first-person view of you running around completing the chores and maybe being killed by your co-hosts.
Now, I am legally limited in what I can say about this game because I did participate in the closed beta of it. Yeah. So I have played it, and I had to sign a pretty serious NDA about talking about this game. So Corporal can say whatever he wants.
I didn't sign nothing.
And you haven't played it.
And I haven't played it. But the information that I do know came from you. So in some sort of...
No! You can't say that! It's not going to get me in trouble. It's coming out. I think we should try to stream it at least once. Because it will be so funny. Because it was funny when we played it. I think we played that during our 2-year anniversary stream, right?
We did. Yep.
And we got at least one good clip from it, which was worth it. So we'll definitely play it off stream. We might stream it. Could be fun. It's coming out November 10th, which also puts it in line. So within 8 days, we're going to have Among Us VR, Bravery and Greed, and Pokemon. Luckily, Pokemon comes out last. Because after Pokemon comes out, both of those games are getting put on the shelf, which will definitely factor into which one I'm going to get.
Yeah.
But other than those, like I said, Pokemon, Street Fighter, and Breath of the Wild, I really can't think of any other big releases
honestly,
that I'm excited about.
I don't want anything like from a dad's standpoint, from a father, like there's so much time in the day. Like, you've got work, you've got household.
Splatoon
your
still just came out. Like
Yeah,
Splatoon is very early in the life cycle.
You have a lot of things as a father that you have to balance in your day to then wants to play 12 other games. And I still have a huge backlog of games that are on my Xbox that I haven't even touched, not to mention the Nintendads stuff. So I'm happy that there's not a huge list in front of me.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to get Spider-Man Miles Morales on Steam when it comes out the same week as Pokemon. Damn it. I'm going to get it. I'm probably not going to stream it because it's a single-player game. I'm just going to play it alone quietly. Actually, my son will probably get a kick out of that because he loves Spider-Man. And it's a beautiful game. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to continue to play Sunbreak a lot because they have a lot of big updates coming out for that. Splatoon over the next year is still going to continue to be played if they can duct tape their servers together. I'm almost relieved that Street Fighter is giving me a little chance to breathe
before it comes
out. Because if it was like coming out January 1st, I would be like, just kill me. Just kill me, clone me, and then re-release 2 of me so that I can play all these games. Re-released. So with it, we're getting towards the tail end of the episode here. What games did you play this year with your kids?
So I mentioned this earlier, but I've been playing a lot of Overcooked. Me and the kids been playing a lot of Overcooked, and it's good to be able to have somebody help me in the kitchen because those maps are challenging.
I'm sure Lady Sage is like, yeah, it'd be nice if somebody helped me in the kitchen. All you're doing is playing Overcooked with the kids. How about you play the real kitchen?
Yes, that is true.
I assure you don't want me helping you in the kitchen.
I will post a picture on our Discord channel of me in the kitchen for everybody. Right now. I want to do it right now. This is an interactive live episode. But if you want to see the best that Corporal can do in the kitchen, it's going to be... Oh my god, do I not have the picture? I don't have the picture. I have the picture. It's just not there. Hold on.
I have the picture, except that I don't.
It's not saved on my phone. It's saved on Facebook Messenger.
Well, while you get that, I will tell you about the games that I've been playing with my kids. So we started earlier this year. We played Mario 64. Mario 64 came to the Nintendo Online expansion, and I thought, I'm going to get my kid started with Mario. He can run around, mess around. Me and him ended up steamrolling through Mario 64. Him kind of doing the exploratory parts, and then me doing the stars, like the hard parts. He liked that so much, we beat it. And then I rented Mario 3D World from our local library. PSA, for the millionth time in a row. You can rent games from your local library in most states. We rented Mario 3D World. We beat it before we had to return it. That was fun. Then for his birthday, I got Mario Odyssey, which I had never played, I had never owned. It was a launch title on the Switch that I just didn't get.
And we talked about it on the episode. In fact, Nick Yeti was with us when we had this conversation about how it's a great game to play with your kids because your child can play Cappy.
It is.
You can play Mario.
Except when we play, my son plays Mario and I get stuck as Cappy. He does all the... So we've been playing through this.
Demoted to second player.
I'm happy to get demoted to second player. We beat this game. We're going through the post-game content, and there actually is post-game content in this. Yep. Like, we're still playing it. He still loves it. He's being Mario for Halloween. Where's the Cappy Cap? Oh, he took it back. He took it back out of my office. I wore it on our co-stream. But yeah, this has been a phenomenal game. If you have younger kids, this game is great. Even if you don't, if you just like, it's sort of like an open world-ish Mario. It's really good, but that's what I've been playing with the kiddos.
Overwatch or Overcooked, I was gonna say. Plants vs Zombies. Me and Jacob still play quite a bit. And what else?
Castle Crashers, I think you played a little bit.
Oh yeah, Castle Crashers. Yes, me. So, my son and my now wife has a daughter. So my stepdaughter, she just created her own gamer tag. She sat down and she thought about it really long and hard. It took her a couple days to figure out what she wants.
What is it?
And she is Sushi Cat.
Sushi Cat! Yes!
Her name is Sushi Cat.
That's great.
So Little Red and Sushi Cat and I play Castle Crashers together.
That's a good name. That's a good name, Sushi Cat. I like that.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think Bravery and Greed will be fun. I think Bravery and Greed will be more fun as a couch co-op game than an online game.
Yeah.
It's one of those games. Oh my gosh, I don't even think you know this yet. It is, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they are shuttering Killer Queen Black.
What?
They're shutting down the servers. They might be shut down already.
Really?
Yeah, Killer Queen Black is donezo.
Why?
Because that's it. They sold it. People play it, but there's not enough, and you can't. That's it. I think they're gonna have the ability maybe to do private, yeah, but there's gonna be no.
So for those of you who don't know, one of our first big company interviews that we did was with the creators of Killer Queen Black.
Yeah, Liquid Bit.
Liquid Bit. We had them on our show. We did an interview twice with them, and it was really good, and it was a really informative episode into like how to make a game and where those concepts come from and what information you bring to the table as a developer and creator and how you can apply that knowledge into a game just outside of being a gamer. It was a really great interview. And we partnered with them for codes, and we were able to do a giveaway. And
that was our first. That was our first one. Yeah,
I did not know that.
So yeah, sad to see them shut down their servers. But I thought of it because we were talking about good games for co-op, and that game is so hype when you play it in person co-op.
Yeah.
So tier for Killer Queen Black. Favorite moments, favorite episodes, favorite streams from this past year. Do any stand out in particular?
Yes, most certainly. There is the most cringeworthy streams that I've done, and that would be Boyfriend.
Oh, yes! I was hoping. I didn't want to bring it up. I wanted you to bring it up. Yes. I still can't believe you streamed Boyfriend Dungeon multiple times?
3 times.
Oh my god.
3 times. I was committed to it. Like, I wanted to find a boyfriend. I was a young little girl who was in San Francisco spending time with my cousin, and I wanted to explore the city on my summer break and maybe find love.
Oh my god.
I didn't. I didn't find love.
But you found an entire armory of weapons.
I mean, this is true. This is true.
Yeah, let's see. I really like the metaverse and the unplugged episodes. Those were fun themed episodes. See, Boyfriend Dungeon, I'm still thinking about it. I feel like I want to do more of those, the evergreen episodes, but we got dumped with news this year.
Yeah.
I feel like, it took us 6 months to do the gameplay, mechanics, and story episode.
We have a poisoned pill episode, which is our Halloween episode that we have to do, and our Possessed Games episode, which was another Halloween episode that we were going to do.
Listen, you decided to get married in October. That's on you. That's the... Because otherwise, we would have done it.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. We'll have to update it a little bit.
We'll have to rewrite it. What else? I mean, obviously, one of the big highlights was the Sunbreak release weekend. Because I played so much. I streamed it so much. It was so fun to do that. And the Hunter Happy Hour. Like, just being involved with that launch was definitely a high point for me in the year. Basically, anything around the launch of Sunbreak, I was just like... My heart was all aflutter. Side quest. What is your game of the year? So I think we did this last year.
Yeah.
What is your game of the year? I bet you can't guess mine.
I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Out of all the games that came out this year, like, I enjoyed Pokemon Arceus, and while I think it was important for the series and its growth, it was okay. It was good. And Demio is spectacular, but in my own fault, I should have played more of it.
Yeah,
like,
but how much did you play TMNT?
Quite a bit, because I also played a whole bunch with Little Red and Sushi Cat on the couch. So
I love it. Has she done like a logo yet?
Whatever Xbox offers her as a login screen, and she's changed her name on the Switch to Sushi Cat.
I will help with that.
Okay.
I will design Sushi Cat.
Okay, I'll let her know. She'll be very excited.
So it's definitely not Halo Infinite.
Yeah, no.
And it's definitely not Splatoon. I know there's a little bit of salt coming out of that last stream because of how rough it was. But that was the worst it's been. That is the worst it's been. You're 100% right. That is the worst it's been, and I'm mad that it was that bad. But I think I enjoyed playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles more. I think so. Yeah, I mean you've been talking about how much you liked the original.
Yeah.
The original, what was it? Turtles in Time, I think was the name of the original arcade game.
Yeah, I think so.
So that checks out. Yeah. Mine was Sunbreak, easily.
We all know.
Easily and without question. You guys don't need to hear me talk about it any more than I already have.
It's a joke to even ask.
Yeah. Although, I mean, Arceus was really good. Splatoon 3 is really good.
Yep.
Most of the time when you're not getting disconnected. Yeah, I can't think of any other real contenders for that. I'm looking in my Steam library really quick because sometimes there's games that come and go. I mean, Cyberpunk's very high up there in my list of games that I really like.
And I mean, I've been playing Elden Ring, so like I guess
Elden Ring, that's so funny. We haven't talked about Elden Ring one time.
Yeah.
One time. It didn't even make the notes, which is kind of sad because it was really good. It's a really good game. It deserves to be game of the year. Like, more so than any game that we've talked about. But I'd pretty much forgotten about it.
Yeah.
This is why I opened Steam. Yeah, I think Elden Ring obviously was really good. Cyberpunk, they fixed a bunch of stuff with it and they improved it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoy Cyberpunk way more than I enjoy Elden Ring. Even though I think Elden Ring on paper is a much better game.
Yeah. For
me personally, I've head over heels more fun playing Cyberpunk. Especially with the anime that came out. I mean, Edge Runners was like one of the best single season animes that I've seen in a long time.
Are
you joking?
I know.
Why?
Because I got trapped in that Vox Machina critical thing.
Okay, that's fair.
I told you.
That's fair.
I went down this rabbit hole.
It is an animated show. Do not watch it around your kids.
Yeah.
Don't even watch it in the same building.
If you thought Vox Machina was naughty,
it's no. This is like Invincible. I don't think you've watched Invincible.
No, but I know what you're talking about.
You've seen The Boys?
Yeah.
So Invincible is like the cartoon version, parallel of The Boys, and Cyberpunk is pretty on par with Invincible. Probably not as graphic as Invincible, but like thematically like more depressing and more just like.
Okay.
I would actually say Cyberpunk might be better than Invincible. It was real good. I was hooked. Anyway, that's 3 years of the Nintendads.
3 full years.
3 full years.
Where do you think we're going to be in another year when we start our 4th year?
Probably talking about what the hell happened with Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see you. I mean, we'll see you in a year.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about how our most anticipated games. We'll be talking about how Pokemon turned out, how Street Fighter turned out, how Breath of the Wild 2 turned out, and probably a dozen other games that took us by surprise. And that's what's fun. That's what's fun about doing this year to year. It's interesting to see how many games pop up over the course of a year that are hyped up and fail to meet expectations, that are lined up and hit it out of the park, and that just like sleepers that we never see coming. I will say there were a lot of misses this year on Nintendo's part. Mario Strikers, Switch Sports. There was another one that I always include those 3. Switch Sports, Mario Strikers, and there's one other one. Mario Party, maybe?
You know, we did talk about doing like a Nintendads workout challenge, trying to get in shape. We could do some lunges. That would be a real step forward for us.
No! Damn it! You actually got me, because I really thought that was well done. I really thought you were going to be like, maybe we should do a fitness stream, because we have talked about that before.
We most certainly have. Yep.
It was just a pun. It was just a pun setup. Damn it. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around with us for these 3 years. We love you guys, and we will see you in many, many more episodes to come. Bye.